You have the choice to either go first or go second. Okay? But before we begin with the questions, I will let each of you give a little 3-minute opening remarks.
Thank you. And I want to hear a round of applause for those JSA students again. They're awesome. All of the high school students who have come here, you're exactly what we need to change this state. In fact, all of you who are coming here are exactly what we need to change this state. And let me tell you, after serving 11 years in the minority in this legislature, we need to change this state. Now, as I said, I spent 11 years in the legislature. I'm on the Appropriations Committee, so I know the budget inside out. I'm on the Finance Committee, and I'm the ranking member there, and I've been the ranking member there and the Ways and Means Committee in the House for my entire 11-year term in the legislature. So I know our financial picture inside. But probably the most important thing that I've done is I've been a dad for the last 25 years. My youngest daughter, she just graduated from Washington University in St. Louis. She's now living in Brooklyn and having a great life. And that was my oldest daughter. My youngest daughter just graduated from Tucson High School, number 18 in the class of 755, where she had amazing teachers who got her through what I saw as devastating cuts to our schools by this legislature and this governor. At Tucson High, her teachers get 50th average salary in the country. There are 6 counselors for 3,200 kids. They have a third of the computers they need, and the average age of those computers is 12 years old. And 10% of the classrooms are locked away because they are hazardous to inhabit. Directly because this governor and this legislature have refused to fund our building renewal formula. They funded it at 10% of what it should be. So there's literally HVAC systems held together with duct tape. There's roofs collapsing on kids while they're in class. This is a terrible situation we found ourselves in. But the worst situation we found ourselves in is our teacher retention crisis. We now have 1,300 vacancies across this state. 526 teachers left in the first month of this school year because they can't afford to live on that salary. Other states are poaching it. It would take a 7% raise to get the 49th in the country. Governor Ducey, in his State of the State, he said last January, we've got to get teacher raises. We've got to solve this crisis. What did he propose? 0.4% raises. $15 a month on average. Now it turns out, at the same time as proposing those raises that were insults to teachers, he was giving his own political appointees inside staff 20% raises, plus promotions, plus bonuses. Some of them were getting 100% raises. It's time to change leadership. This guy doesn't have the right priorities. Thank you very much.
How's this sound? Is it okay? Because it sounds like the voice is coming from way over there. Is that right? Am I right? Está bien? Yeah? It's like please try to open it without it. Not anything to say. Bueno, listos. Ready? Listos. Soy David García y es un placer estar aquí con ustedes. Gracias por venir. I'm David Garcia. It's a pleasure to be here with you. I'm excited to be here with you. And I'm also very honored and excited to have a whole group of our fantastic team with us. A lot of them sitting right over there. Thank you very much for showing up, guys. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you for that. So I am born and raised in Arizona. I share the same story as many of our students. I'm from Mesa, born and raised, the very first in my family to go to college. Growing up, I didn't know anybody who went to college. And I'd like to tell you that I'm standing in front of you because I was the smartest one in the neighborhood. Certainly was not the best looking one in the neighborhood for sure. But the truth is, I'm standing in front of you because I had a couple things going for me. Number one, I had a dad, my father, that went to work every single day so that we could stay in our home and be stable and have an opportunity to be a kid. And second, we had fantastic public schools to send you to. And those two things I remember what I'm fighting for now as governor's candidate, what I fought for when I ran for state superintendent. Now for me, I'd like to tell you, I also spent a lot of time studying as well as I should have. I didn't, and so my path goes through the military. I joined the Army when I was 17. It was a chance for me to serve my country, but also a chance for me to turn my own life around, and it really did. I took high school over again for example. I learned how small my world was, and how much more I needed to grow. And I came home again, because when you're the first in your family, you come back to help the community that helps you. And since coming back, I have worked very hard at the state legislature. I was associate superintendent for the state of Arizona. But folks, to put it simply, there is nobody better prepared to lead Arizona's public schools into the future as governor than me. And more particularly, there's nobody that shares the same story as our students that can be an inspiration for what's possible than me. And so I'm excited to have that opportunity. I'm excited to be here today. Let you know a little what I'm about and where we are going as a state. Thank you very much, and on to the event. Thank you.
All right, since Senator Steve Farley won the coin toss, we will ask him the first question. I have spent most of my 15-year career here in the Yuma area. I have no ties here, and like many of my former colleagues, can travel to the Imperial Valley and double my salary. Why should one educator with my level of experience stay in Yuma?
Well, I've already been to Yuma 5 times this year as part of this campaign, and I'm really excited about it. The people I meet here are amazing. The people who are in agriculture, the people in business, and the teachers. I was so happy that when I was first elected to the legislature in 2006, in my freshman class were Lynn Pancrazzi and Teresa Ulmer and Amanda Aguirre. They were wonderful role models, even as freshmen with me. Their leadership is astonishingly good. So Yuma is an amazing place with people who care about the community so strongly. And let me tell you something about the teacher, because I think part of that question is, why should I stay in Yuma working for this pay I'm getting? My parents were both public school teachers. I was born of teachers. I see how hard teachers work. I know that dedication to public service and how they think that the students in their classroom are equal to the students that may be biologically theirs. That's certainly the way it was with my parents and my sister. I saw how much money they spent to be able to go out there and get their classroom supplied when they couldn't find money. I saw how when the latest superintendent would come up with some sort of new type of education technique, that they had to go in the classroom, that they had to change everything. They weren't trusted, they weren't respected. All of those things need to change here in Arizona. They have to. And just because teachers are dedicated to changing lives in their classroom, doesn't mean you should take advantage of them by paying them peanuts. We can change this. I want to continue to talk about teacher pay as we move. We don't have the time right now here. We have the money to pay for teacher raises. We have the money to pay for 20% teacher raises. And that's why I'm pushing for to solve this teacher crisis and finally give teachers the respect they deserve.
All right, I cannot shout for an hour and a half. I gave it a shot. So, to the teacher who's out there, understand this. We're going to win this election. And when we win this election, we are going to start paying and treating teachers the way that they deserve to be paid and treated, folks. That's what's going to happen. You have a commitment from me, for all educators out there, that we are going to treat our teachers like professionals. And that is 2 things. Number 1, we're going to pay you as professionals. We're going to pay you, look, we look at teachers a lot of times like missionaries. We look at them to say, oh, they love to do this. They would do this for the love of the kids. And the reality is, yes, many teachers have that in their heart. But you cannot have a wage and raise a family on a teacher's salary in Arizona, and that needs to change. And so we're going to focus on that first and foremost. But second, which I think is equally important, we're going to give you a chance to teach. We're going to pull back from our fascination with standardized testing and allow you to go into the classroom. Go into the classroom and teach. But I'm a teacher, that's what I do. And the second you tell me that my job is to prepare students to answer multiple choice questions, you take the joy away from what it means to be a teacher. And the reality is, the more we prepare students for multiple choice questions, the less prepared they are for life after high school. And so as a teacher, as an educator, we're going to allow our teachers to have that sense of professionalism as well. Get in the classroom, teach the subject area that they're passionate about, and then reward them like the professionals that we believe that they are. Thank you. Yes.
You're up again.
I remember this last time.
All right. One of you will have an opportunity to debate Governor Ducey. How will you rebut his assertion that he is the education governor? For example, he claims he invested hundreds of millions of new money into K-12 education without raising taxes.
That's a good question. You know, we actually had the opportunity to do that this week. We had the opportunity to confront Governor Ducey directly this week. He was down at the Capitol pushing the tax cut legislation and over again talking about what a benefit it would be for the state. Now, he did not mention, however, that it was going to be devastating to teachers. He did not mention how teachers were going to benefit from tax cuts that are being pushed by Washington, primarily for those at the very top. And so I took that opportunity, and you can jump on Facebook, DG Garcia for governor, and see that I took it directly to him to ask him how the tax cut bill was going to help teachers. And the reality is, folks, it isn't going to help teachers. And so much of what we're doing in Arizona is lip service to helping teachers and helping education. The short story, the way that we're going to rebut Governor Ducey on this one is, look, he stands up and claims he's the education governor, right? Heard that? Well, he does. We're going to do something really different. We're not going to have an education governor. We're going to have a governor who's an educator. That's what we're going to have. Think about that for a second. Somebody with this teacher's heart, who knows what it's like to be in the classroom, who understands what this is about, and has committed his professional life to improving public education. That's the rebuttal we're going to take directly to Governor Ducey. It's the passion we're going to take to him to make sure that we close corporate loopholes, we do what's necessary to raise revenue in this state, and fight any interest that comes against those goals to make sure that we, again, provide not only for our teachers, but our students as well, the education that they deserve.
Governor Ducey has a tendency to play fast and loose with the truth. So the key in challenging Governor Ducey on a debate stage, if he ever agrees to actually have a debate with me, is to make sure that you're pointing out what he does, not what he says. This happens repeatedly. When he says, I've given hundreds of millions of dollars of new money for K-12 education, what he did was fund the legally requirement increase for enrollment growth and inflation. That means he paid the same amount per kid that he paid the year before. That's not new money, that's new people to educate. He's lying when he says it's new money, flat out. Now, when Governor Ducey first came into office, the first thing he did in his budget was he killed JTED, career and technical education programs. Wiped it out. $30 million cut. And he pushed it through. And in the off session, I fought everything I could during that session against that JTED cuts. And in the off session, I raised up all sorts of allies in the business community and parents and students to rage against that. We push. From my knowledge of the legislature, from having served for 11 years, the people and processes, I worked across the aisle in a bipartisan way until we actually got a unanimous bipartisan vote to force the JTED cuts to be restored and force Governor Ducey to sign that budget. Even when he signed it, he demanded it be $28 million instead of $30 million that was restored. He demanded there be strings attached to it that hurts our kids. And then at the end of the year, he issued a press release bragging about having invested $28 million into our JTED program that he had killed the year before. We can't let that type of Trumpian language carry the day. And I'm planning to challenge him everywhere he does it. Thank you.
All right, next question. Why did we lower the standards to become a teacher?
The question was, why do we lower standards to become a teacher? And that's a darn good question. Because this last session, Governor Ducey signed a bill to say we don't need credentials for teachers anymore. That was his solution for the teacher crisis. But how many of you have ever heard anyone say we need lower quality and less qualified teachers in Arizona? I haven't heard that from anybody. What I have heard is that we got a teacher crisis. But the way to solve it is not to let all comers come on in the classroom. Because what happens when somebody who's never had basic classroom management training comes to a classroom? Right now, 44% of all teachers leave within 2 years in Arizona. They're going to leave within a month. That's not how you solve the teacher crisis. You solve the teacher crisis by paying them decent wages. Now, in my experience, sitting there on the finance committee, where a lot of people's eyes roll over when they hear about finance, the reason that all the theft happens in the finance committee is because people aren't paying attention. I've been paying attention. We have $13.7 billion each year that we give away in corporate sales tax loopholes. $13.7 billion with a B. Our entire annual budget for the state is $9.5 billion. If we can eliminate $3 billion out of those sales tax loopholes, special interest loopholes that lobbyists get into place for their clients, we could lower the sales tax rate by 1% while increasing education spending by $2 billion a year. That takes leadership, and that's what I plan to do. Thank you.
We lowered the standards to allow people in the classroom because we simply do not have enough qualified teachers to fill it. That's the straightforward answer. But let me tell you the reason why we let it happen. You heard in my bio, I have a PhD in education policy and research. I'm about to give you a 30-second PhD right now. A lesson on how to sniff out a really bad policy, particularly in education policy. Are you ready? As soon as somebody has an idea, walk up to them and ask them, would you put your kids in that class? Ask them, would you put your kids